Hello, good evening all. Here's a video lecture for you all for animal cell culture. In this, we are specifically going to talk about cloning and selection. So, cloning and selection is basically a term that are used together here. Together as in they are totally two different words. First, I'll talk about what is cloning and then we'll go for a selection. So, cloning is basically to form a clone. This is a sort of a technique which we'll use to form a clone. Now, this clone, what do you mean by the clone? The clone is exact copy, right? So, by cloning, what you are going to do is you are going to form a exact copy of that particular cell in many numbers. So now what is the requirement to form such many number of same cell type? The requirement is, if a particular researcher is planning to conduct an experiment on a particular cell type, as in he is interested to check a particular drug activity on a cell, say for example on a heart cell. So he will not be willing to check that particular activity on other cell types. So he must have a pure cell strain in his hand so that he can specifically check activity of that drug over a particular cell type, right? That is, in here the case is heart cell. Now that particular cell type can be gained in many in number with the help of a cloning. So here comes the existence or a significance why we need to perform a cloning, just to have a same cell type that with a many copies, yeah, many number of copies. Now how I can achieve a cloning, or how a cloning can be done? Cloning can be done with the help of one of the microbial approach or a microbial biological approach, where exactly uh, isolation is done with the help of technique called pure culture technique. I hope you people knowing what is pure culture technique is about. Pure culture technique, I'll just give you idea. It is subculturing a content. Here we are specifically focusing on an animal cell culture. So rather a microbial content, I'll be subculturing my different cell population. See, different cell population in one petri plate, and then I'll be collecting it from the first plate and plating into the another. So this culturing will be done in a series manner, so that ultimately I'll end up with the pure cell strain. So what I'm doing here is I'm allowing a 10 cell, suppose I'm allowing 10 cell population, a different cell type, and then from there I'm picking a single cell colony, and that colony I'm allowing to grow into the another plate, that is plate 2, right? Then this second plate will allow to certain number of colonies. Those certain number of colonies, suppose say from that 10 number you have took to one, but by mistake or by any fluke you have other colony comes and contaminated it. What you will be doing for that? Again you are go for the subculturing. By this you are reducing the cell count as well as cell type. At last you will end up with the cell type in which you are interested, because you have picked it and you have stripped it in a different cell or else on a different plate, culturing plate, and you have achieved a colonies with the pure cell strain. Now here, as we are talking about animal cell culture, this animal cell culture every time has to deal with the two different types of cell. Those two different types of cells, majorly two different types of cells, right? So these two different types of cells are, one we call as a normal cell, that a normal cells that is present in a normal body, right, which acts very or which behaves very normally. What we call normal, as in cell will divide and propagate on the basis of its confluency as well as with the attachment it has, right. So that to those cell we called a normal one, and the other cell type we call as a continuous cell line, which are majorly a cancerous cell. Those cancerous cell are having a capacity to divide and grow continuously, lacking a confluence. This is the major difference. That is, they do have continuous cell lines do have a property to grow and divide continuously without any confluency. Here this will grow and divide very slowly, the propagation is very slow, and they do have a property called confluency. They will inhibit their growth once they achieve through the confluency. So this is the major difference. Now cloning with both will show a different success rate, right. This can be understood from the continuous cell line, that it will be very easy to conduct the cloning, right, as it is having a fast growth and it is multiplying continuously. So I can have more number of cell at a particular time period, after a particular time period, and whereas if it is compared with the normal cell line, it is showing a poor cloning efficiency because its rate is very slower, right, its rate is very slower. It won't allow it to grow and divide in such a manner the way your continuous cloning is performing. But the major difference or major problem in normal will have a look afterward. First, there are certain cells, I'm talking about normal one, which do possess a successful cloning, which shows a successful cloning. Those are certoil or a kidney cells or a glomerulus or a muscle cell. These are the certain cells which shows a successful cloning, right. Now this will talk about why the cloning is not much successful or much proper in terms of normal. As we have studied the term senescence, if you people remember in our lectures, that this senescence is a actual point that signifies the particular cell is normal, right. So what happens, your normal cells do enter into a stage, a growth pattern, during its growth pattern, that is a senescence, right. As I said, to achieve a cloned cell, I need to perform a number of passage. So what will happen, if I am going to perform this number of passages for this particular clone, which one is normal, right, this particular cell type which is very normal, what will happen, this will keep on replicating and giving a new colonies. It will keep duplicating and giving us a new colony. This duplication will lead to the formation of a new generation at every stage, right. So your normal cell line is following a growth pattern during this passage. What will be that growth pattern? It will be the lag phase, log phase, stationary, and at the end it will be senescence. So during this passage, what will happen, your normal cell, right, this normal cell will undergo a growth pattern. So at the time when you have a usable number of or a count in your hand that can be used for the experiment purpose, at that time your cell must have underwent a senescence. So this is a major issue with the normal cell. You can also call this cell as a primary culture cell. Primary culture cell, if you people remember, is the one which we have extracted or we have withdrawn from the experiment and for the first time we have cultured into the plate. So that is also a normal one that will grow and divide slowly and end up with the senescence. So it is also a one sort of a limitation for the normal tissue to use for the cloning purpose. The other part it will do is, you can have your normal cell which will be crossing along with the growth pattern. It is also crossing a number of cell type during its propagation. What does that cell type is? As you know, when you extract a normal cell or a stem cell, suppose if you extract a stem cell, so what stem cells also is one of the example, right? So if I take a stem cell as my primary culture, if I took that stem cell and that stem cells I have tried to multiply through the subculturing or a passages. So what will happen? This stem cell will be trying to acquire a differential state. So during the period of passaging, it is differentiation. It is differentiating itself. So this differentiation will end up with the heterogeneity. So this is not our requirement as per the cloning is concerned, right? So what cloning says, we need to have a proper cell type with peculiar characteristic, single peculiar characteristic and many in number, but this can lead up to the formation of a different number of colonies, right, with the help of this heterogeneity. Now again, one more major issue what can be there, your heterogeneity which is there already existed due to the passaging. This heterogeneity will give rise to the grown up cell, as in I said you all, it will end up with the particular senescence period, but it will again harsh or it will affect our cell clones by producing a clones which are very much grown up now. And then if it is a grown up period, it won't be much helpful for us to conduct an experiment with those cells which have already grown up, right? Now this heterogeneity can be reduced with the help of cloning. There are certain techniques which reduce the heterogeneity, but from all this content what else I have told you till now, what we can see is this cloning can be used as survival assay, right? How come it is possible? Survival assay means what? Assay means just to identify a quantity, a quality, to check the quality of a particular cell, right? So here I'll be detecting on the basis of survival assay. Survival assay, how I can perform a survival assay? As I know that normal tissue has a property during cloning that they will show a heterogeneity, they will show me a senescence at the end, they will be fully grown up. This is the actual characteristic of my normal cell, but as I say, I can use it for survival assay. So I can optimize a growth condition, as in the pattern which was being followed by providing a certain condition. That pattern can be changed by changing a environmental condition, and then by performing different sets of experiment on that particular cell line, I can optimize the growth condition, that in which growth condition my particular cell can give me a optimized growth, right? So I can use it for a survival assay. How I can cross verify it? By the pattern which was been shown my actual normal cell that has been turned to be in a form of a proper growth condition, right? So this is how I can optimize growth condition and I can perform so I can say that I can perform a survival assay. The other part is I can determine a chemosensitivity or radiosensitivity. Chemosensitivity means what? If you know very well your normal tissue is following this certain pattern during cloning, right? So if I'm adding a particular chemical and if I observe certain change or a growth pattern change in my cell during that cloning, then I can confirm that particular cell is showing sensitivity towards my chemical. So I can determine the sensitivity of that particular clone. Right? Understood? Other way I can use is same as chemosensitivity, I can use it for radiosensitivity. I can check with the different radiation I will be radiating my cell with the different radiation, and if the pattern changes, if there is some optimization or there is some changes in a actual way it is going, then I can see that yes, my cell or a clone is radiosensitive. So these are the certain uses, that major uses that I can use cloning for. Right? Next, we'll consider how exactly cloning can be done. Right? As I said, I'll be performing a certain one microbiological approach. Now, how I can go for the cloning now, right? As in how I can conduct it a more practical way rather theoretically. I'll explain you how I can perform in a practical manner. So basically I can do it with the two different ways, in two different ways. The one way is to be followed for a adherent cell, the other way is to go for a suspension culture, adherent culture or a suspension culture. This will be the two different way I can conduct. The first adherent culture can be called as a monolayer culture, right? And the other part, that is your suspension culture, that is the one in which you are performing a cell to be in a suspended form, right? So the very first, I'll be allowing my cell to get adhere to a particular substratum, and the other way I'll be allowing my cell to remain in a suspended form. So these are the two different ways in which I can perform my cloning, right? So first of all, talk about cloning with the adherent culture. So in that adherent culture, what I can do is I'll be attaching my that cloning cells to a petri dishes or multi-well plate or a flask, right? So this petri dishes, multi-well flask or a multi-well plates, this will allow me to check or to see that yes, cloning is happening. Yes, how do I know that cloning is happening is if I am checking that one cell is giving rise to the other cell. The one cell is giving rise to other cell. That means from that cell, from that single cell, the other cell is coming out. So that parental cell will always giving rise to the daughter one. So this confirms us that yes, the cells are being cloned or forming a clone. So this can be very much easily discerns from the petri dish. So this actually should be done with the help of microscope. It is a microscopic view entirely. So what exactly the way is, if I am performing adherent culture, I'll be very much sure that my cell is giving rise to the other cell, that is cloning is happening, right? It is very clear through adherent culture. Now we can have one more term called micro manipulation. This micro manipulation is actually a method which allow us a genuine clonality. Genuine clonality means what? That colony is derived from one cell itself. So that is that can be done with the help of micro manipulations, right? It is a method to understand the or to determine a clonality, right? So now let's talk about the cell suspension. What will happen in a cell suspension is, as cells are being there in a suspended form, right? So we need to check the colony at the early stage, that clone there is this, derivation or the formation of a new cell type within a suspended form itself, right? So when symmetrical colonies are derived from the single cell suspension, as in one more colonies have been formed from the other, that can be observed with the proper monitoring. There should be a proper monitoring at the early stage itself, but you need to put a probability that colonies are cloned. You will not be very much sure in case of cell suspension compared to the cell adherent culture, right? So cell suspension and cell adherent do have a different advantage and disadvantage. We'll discuss it right now. So in terms of cell suspension, if I am dealing, it will be more benefitable or more advantageous if I am using a viscous solution, right? What will happen in viscous solution? The one of the example for viscous solution is your methocell. This methocell is a type of agarose or agar. Agar is a matrix which is gel like content when it is heated to a particular temperature. It will form a gel, and it at room temperature it becomes totally solid, right? So this agarose content in our methocell or is a gel type of a methocell will allow us. It is not entirely a gel, it is not entirely agar, it is a viscous solution, right? So this viscous solution will allow us to check for the cell that is giving rise to its own daughter cell. So what will happen if the medium is totally viscous, right? See, in our, I'm repeating a difference between cell adherent culture and cell suspension culture. In cell adherent culture, we are using a solid agar medium or solid medium, rather agar, a solid medium, which in which your cell is attached to a particular substratum, right? That is a cell adherent culture. The other type is cell suspension culture, in which the medium is totally liquid and the cells are not attached to the particular substratum. They are in a suspended form. This is a major difference between cell adherence and cell suspension. Now here we are modifying the cell suspension, rather putting our cell or involving or submerging our cell inside a liquid content. We are slightly modifying it by putting our cells into a viscous solution, right? So what will happen with this viscous solution? This viscous solution, this which is gel, this viscosity will ensure that daughter cells do not break away from the colony as soon as it forms. So the daughter cell won't be get separated from its parent. Yeah, so this will confirm us, yes, there is clone being formed by our colony only, and it is not the contamination. So daughter cell, as soon as it will form, it will remain attached to a parent cell. So this will help us in a cell suspension condition or a cell suspension case to check for cloning is being carried out successfully, right? So this cloning is being checked for the other type, as in if I talk about the monolayer cloning, which is a cell adherent type. What is the case? There are certain cell lines, as I said, that adherent cell culture is more advantageous, as I can say that one cell is dividing and giving rise to its clone, that I can see very clearly. But there are certain cell lines, those cell lines are HeLa and CHO. These are the certain popularly known animal cell lines. These cell lines are having a poor attachment with their parents, right? So they can, once they derived from their parent, what will happen? This derivation is very much, this attachment is very much poor that they can detach easily, and once they detach easily, we won't be able to identify that a single colony has giving rise to the other cell type or the other cells in the same plate, right? So these are the certain drawbacks which will give an erroneous plating efficiency. Yes student, here I'll just inform you all. We are going to use different terms in this lecture or during all of the lecture period. I would like to request you all that if you guys have any doubt regarding the terms that I am using, you people can ask me through Google Classroom that you people have not understood this particular term. So I'll be preparing a separate video lecture for that particular terminologies, right? So it will be very much helpful for you all to understand my lecture then, right? The separate video lecture will be prepared for your terminologies. Right now here I have used the new term. Come back to the lecture. Here I have used the term plating efficiency. What do I mean by that? Plating efficiency means, as cloning is concerned with the number of cells, that is many in number of same cell type. So what plating efficiency actually determines or shows us that how many number of cells are being derived from the single cell. As in, initially suppose I have a number of number of two different cells in my plate, right? And at the last, when my incubation is completed, I got a 20 different cells, right? So 20 different cells. Now from this, what I can calculate is just a random calculation, that I'll be giving it a term that my one colony has given rise to the 10. So this one colony has given rise to 10. This calculation is your plating efficiency. Although it is the totally depend on how much efficient they are for growth and development, that varies differently and that has a many different meaning. But plating efficiency means what you should keep in mind: how many cell can one cell produce after incubation. That is a plating efficiency. Yes, so that is the plating efficiency. Now what we can do in this case, for such cell lines I can, because as they have HeLa and CHO I was talking about, this cell line I can use a metho cell which will without any underlay and allow a cell to sediment, राइट अब ये विस्कस है सॉल्यूशन, तो ये विस्कस सॉल्यूशन में क्या होगा, आपके सेल्स जो है जो पुअरली अटैच्ड है वो डिटैच हो सकते हैं, बट विस्कस सॉल्यूशन में क्या होगा, वो डायरेक्टली सेटल हो जाएंगे, राइट, एंड दे विल गेट सेटल्ड टू अ प्लास्टिक ग्रोथ सरफेस. Understood? So I can rule out the doubt that it is due to the other cell type. Yes, now other application I do have of this cloning is hematopoietic cells are usually cloned in suspension cell, right, suspension culture. So what happened there, you need to provide a different growth factor so that colony generate undifferentiated cells, right? But now hematopoietic stem cells, right, I'm talking about hematopoietic stem cell. What does that mean? Hematopoietic cells has its own capacity to grow and divide in such a manner that it will grow ultimately into a differentiated cell type. So these hematopoietic cells are the only cells which possess a pluripotency property, right? So what is the case in terms of hematopoietic cells, stem cells or hematopoietic cells? When I'm allowing that cells to grow in a suspension, right, and depending on the cells and the growth factor used, the colony generate undifferentiated cells. See, when I am providing a particular condition, मैंने उन्हें एक particular cells दिया है, particular growth factors दिया है, so that they will grow to a certain stage called undifferentiated cell, right? So there will be a formation of high efficiency, that is your plating efficiency will be very much high and your repopulation efficiency will be very much high when the cells are not differentiating, they are under differentiated, they are not differentiated, then you have a population that is very much high, right? But when I took a mature cell, right, I took a hematopoietic mature cell into the colony of differentiated hematopoietic cell, right? Now the now I'll allow a certain condition in which I am allowing the cell to get differentiation to happen. So here the condition will act in a reverse manner. There won't be a highest repopulation efficiency. Now your repopulation will be very low, right? So what is happening here is, in hematopoietic stem cells, when you are providing a growth condition and that growth condition is just supporting your undifferentiated cells to grow, in undifferentiated cells you are allowing your cells in such a manner that they will give us a highest efficiency, right? They will give us highest efficiency of what? Repopulation, that is they will form a repopulation. But when I vary the condition, as in I have a differentiated cell types in my hand, that differentiated cell, that all differentiated cell will reduce my repopulation efficiency, right? So undifferentiated cell repopulation is highly done and differentiated repopulation is very much low. This is a comparison. Now this two comparison will allow us the cloning to use for a assay, right, for a reproductive potential and stem cell identity, right? How I can use it? See, I got to know ये डिफ्रेंशिएटेड होगा तो पॉपुलेशन कम देगा, डिफ्रेंशिएटेड नहीं होगा तो पॉपुलेशन ज़्यादा देगा. तो ये जैसे ही ग्रोथ मुझे दिख जाएगी एक पर्टिकुलर सेल की, तो इफ़ आई कैन सी that if I am very much doubtful that particular cell is stem cell or not, so how I can get the identity? If it enters into a differentiated pattern, then what will happen? It will give us a repopulation rate very much low. So I can identify with the help of cloning that yes, it's my stem cell. Got the point? Yes. Okay. Now we'll talk about the transformation status of your continuous cell line. This transformation